Well, this is probably an apt start to the video. A cup of tea and a screwdriver. So I'm back in the loft, getting from here, so this is the end of Amersham station with the red bridges, and at the moment no track, apart from the incline at the back. It takes you all the way down to the Moor Park station at the end. Apologies for light, I need to fix up the last of my strip lights up here as well, another job on the end of this list. So I want to get those connected up first, check all the points are working mechanically okay. Well, the first one went in fairly easy, but we'll see how we get on with the others. At least it's working still up here. biggest worry as I get up here and the mechanisms just wouldn't go. So if I look at the diagram, so points B and D, where as I pull the lever back, it basically just pulls the bar back and throws the point, are happy. It's the middle one, so it's point C, where as I pull the lever back, there's a bell crank to reverse it, and there's just too much flexibility in this rod. I sort of thought this might happen in the garage, so I can put in an extra strut across here, and it goes one way, it just doesn't want to reset back. Managed to fix it with the block, a bit of wood supporting across, and then sort of clamped on top. It gives a channel. It's an easy way to do it. So those two are fine. Right, so next day we're back in the loft. So I'm at this section. So this is obviously between Amersham and effectively the Moor Park board. And I never underwired the lines for here when it was done in the garage, partly because I think in the back of my mind I wasn't really quite sure what I was going to do. What I've been thinking about is the power block. So it's the sensible thing for my DC Chiltern line is to have one power block for Aylesbury. The Wendover Amersham up to here will be the second power block, and then the third power block will be Moor Park, and then running around to Harrow on the Hill and at the start of London, and then the final power block will be Marylebone. As you can see, today was a good day. So I've got all the three lines in, connected up between Amersham over here and then the Moor Park section over there, and the power running to all three lines, and the trains are all happy. So I've got a rail isolators here, so I go from one block to the next. So I just need to wire up the second block to the DC controllers. So for tomorrow I'll be cutting the cork, which has finally arrived. Glue that down, and then I can get the track attached. And it was about a week later from when I last updated. So all the track that I can lay is down. It's all corked. Power cables are in for DC and the DCC. Bit of track I haven't been able to do is obviously the bridge. I still need to work out. I'm going to have to lift out that section to build it. So I just need to sort out how I connect that in. And on to sorting out my signals. So the first couple are in, so I've wired up the two control panels. I've got a slight issue with one of them though. I didn't allow for enough room to lift the panel off the top because I always assumed I would swing the control box out and I can get from behind. However, once you connect up the rods, you can't do that. And then I remembered an image Gormo had where he's basically used the chock block inserts to connect up the rods. So in here you'd have a break and then you use the chock block to join the two halves, and obviously I can do that closer to the box so that if I need to open the control panel I can free the rods without having to disconnect them from the front. So I'll put those in place, but for the time being I'm going to work on this panel first. One of the wires in the other panel has come unsoldered, so I need to repair that. But yeah, it's been a good week, made a lot of progress. As you can see, I've got all the lights done for the second control box down at Moore Park. So that's my goods line up. And then over the bridge. And then the Chiltern line up. So that's the Chiltern down, and obviously there's a stop if traffic's going across from the Risborough line, and also you can go off on the Risborough line to Aylesbury from the Chiltern line. Well, it helps if you actually flick the light switch. So this is the goods line, so it's a stop at the point, and then obviously you can go on to the Risborough line, but obviously the next one will be red, so there's an orange warning, or you can go onto the bridge with the feather, but again there's an orange warning as the next one will be at red. Well, now that everything's done in terms of track laying, power, the lights for the signals, and the points are all sorted out for the whole section between here and Moore Park, I think the next sensible place to start will be just to finish off the Amersham scene here. So I've got the car park at the back. You can't quite see it, but I need to sort of finish off this. So there was a car park behind the old goods shed at Amersham. It's not like normal car parks you see on most people's layouts. This was just rough ground, basically, divots and pits where people kept turning their wheels around, and large puddles. So there's no white lines, no signs, no bays, anything like that, tarmac. It's just going to be rough terrain and a few puddles and some cars. It's a bit of a squeeze, but I'll get some stuff in there that sort of shows it. And then I've got obviously the good shed in front, and then in front of there I'll have some old track. I've obviously got the Tim Surf track power cables over for the underground line, and they then, which is what happens at Amersham, so it spans all three, and then the power cables go through to this building here. So this is Amersham signal box. It's not the most prettiest of buildings, so most people have, I suppose, envisage a nice little red and white old traditional signal box. So you get one of those at Chesham, whereas at Amersham, as they put the extra line in the 50s, they built this. Let me just take this off. You might call it a monstrosity, but very distinctive, I suppose, of the period. So that's the Amersham signal box. Today there's like a porter cabin extra building here on the side, but back when, I sort of remember it from the 70s, it was a bit like this. So it's all clad in probably asbestos board, an asbestos roof, and then the main control room is underneath. So I need to have all my cables going into there, and then there was a ladder at the back to get into the signal box. So I haven't done anything in the inside yet, maybe at a later date. So that'll go there. I need a path back. Now that I've actually got some land here, I can finish off the red footpath and bridge, and that'll come down. Then I'll sort of hide it all in trees. Obviously I've got my Risborough line here, which is just probably, I don't know, 30 miles away from Amersham at this point, and not right next to it, but that's models for you. So I'll work on this section first, and I'll then show you what I've done. So if you watched I See No Ships, or sort of ocean liner #1 build, which was inspired by a building on the Thames, it sort of looks like a bit of an ocean liner. You'll know that I was going to build a second building, and then I made the second one where it's still more the flats, but the tower block is on a corner, and the idea is to have a sort of forced perspective in the gap so that it looks like the tower block, ocean liner 2, is sort of going into the distance. The idea I came up with to do the forced perspective is to basically take a photograph of the ocean liner #2 building with a couple of trees down like a central avenue. It will just help hide stuff in the middle, and sort of take an angle from about here, and then I'm gonna flip it round, obviously cut off the tower, and then try and have it so it looks like it's going into the background. So I'll show you the outcome. It's really looking better with the blue background, so it's sort of getting there. The angle is not quite right. I need to play around with it a bit, and I just put a carriage behind. You can just see the top of it, so I think I'll put some of the blue across the two buildings as part of the sort of back forced perspective. Anyway, it's really odd. It's showing this tower as at an angle, but it is it's perfectly straight. I think it's because the platform sloped down. So I'll try it again. So I ended up taking a picture of the first picture in place, and it sort of faded a bit more, and I've sort of lost most of the tree. It's just hints at it. It's sort of just there in the background. I don't think you, obviously the main interest is the trains going past the station. This is just backdrop. Anyway, I think I'll just live with it for a while, see what I think. Let me know what you think if you want to. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. And I'm going to call it for this one, I think, because it's up to about 15 minutes. So as always, if you've watched and enjoyed, thank you very much, and maybe I'll catch you next time when I'll do more of an update, finishing Amersham. Got some more parts to come, and I need to make lots of bushes. That's my next big job, learn how to make bushes.